This struck me for many things. The image itself, the way it's focused, the use of shadow, the impact of the color, the use of foreground and background. How much is this photo news and how much is this photo commentary?
I don't think we can distinguish between news and commentary, particularly in the way that images now get used, in online news sites and so on to, headline stories and organize text around them, so on. The ones that are selected strike me as deliberately being multi-layered so that they can cover both those things. I mean, the thing that strikes me about coverage of Ebola that this, potentially avoids is if there's a story that's going to be prone to stereotypes and cliches, it's going to be something like Ebola. It's, something to do with contagious disease in Africa, runs massive risks for people trying to come up with visual representations of it.
They were beautiful pictures of this very frightening, ugly thing happening, but what I loved about it is that they are artful news pictures, and that we can kind of, as editors and photographers, we can get away with that now. This was something that wasn't real acceptable even, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, to kind of mix creativity and aesthetics with telling the story.
This is something that a lot of people have anxiety over, and so aesthetics becomes this terrible word that, in a lot of critiques people say, oh, that picture, oh, it's too aesthetic. It's like, well, a picture is aesthetic.
Aesthetics is about also what we bring to the photograph individually, how we look at it. So there's the question of the Western gaze. This is an incredibly well-crafted picture, and that it takes really a lot of skill to make a picture that good, that has the balance of aesthetics, of news, light, shadow, focus, non-focus. It's a very complicated picture. That makes it an aesthetic conversation.
The challenges lie in content and purpose, and I think if John Moore, to take an example, had taken just pictures which had only aesthetic value but lacked content relevant to the story, he probably would not have sent them. The purpose of the exercise in this case was to put a message out because it had meaning to him, important meaning. The colonial thing, of course, is invariably a problem when you show anything suggesting need or disaster in Africa, in India, and much of the world, and you present it with an overwhelmingly white audience, then you are vulnerable to sometimes a very legitimate attack of misrepresenting the entirety of a country. So always good to be aware of the purpose of the picture, which should, of course, erupt in dialogue, which is what we're having today.